The same summer they did a biography on Henry Winkler, and the same summer they did a biography on Sylvester Stallone. And the way that those three stories kept overlapping was just insane.
Yeah. And we're live.
Also, can I tell you this? The other thing I learned during those biographies was the original song on Happy Days was like a song they didn't have the rights for, Rock Around the Clock, for the first few seasons. And then they had a separate theme song that they recorded, which for the life of me sounded like the Fonz was singing it. And it was absolutely Henry Winkler that sang the theme song to Happy Days.
Oh, crazy.
The one that Sunday, Monday, Happy Days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Rumble Days, Thursday, Friday, Happy Days, Saturday, what a day, grooving all week with you. These days are all... Okay, I'll shut up now.
I can't believe you forgot George Lucas's most known for film, American Graffiti.
I didn't forget it.
It's the one movie that you think of when you hear George Lucas.
I didn't forget it. I just couldn't remember if it was George Lucas or Steven Spielberg.
Wait, did
'Cause
George Lucas make Star Wars?
I don't know what that film franchise is.
Are you being funny?
Sarcasm doesn't work with me.
Or
I'm
me,
autistic.
because I never know when people are joking or not, and I just have to ask.
Did
them.
you like American Graffiti?
I never saw it.
Oh.
I haven't seen Star Wars though.
Oh. Did you see Dazed and Confused?
No. Saw Indiana Jones.
I feel like we're living dazed and confused. Okay, this is Rumble 506. Welcome. A special day, because Rich only thought there was going to be 6, and now there's 500 plus 6.
I thought you were going to be a special day because we
That's so
decided to
good.
work together.
Also a nice day.
Or
Also,
I forgot
I'm
my
gonna
other laptop
really
and my
try
other camera.
really hard to not shake the table. And I think I'm doing watercolor, so I shouldn't. There should be no yellow.
How come you never get upset when I shake the table?
Hello.
Is it because you're a much nicer person than me, or is it because I don't shake the table?
We could even just.
Hello?
I don't know. I think. I have no idea. So
If you
I
guys
just-
could share the link, it's the difference
Yes.
between us selling artwork tonight and just hanging out.
So.
We can do
Oh
it.
my goodness. Guess what finally happened?
What?
Came up in my recommended on YouTube. I don't
Yes.
have to search it.
It only took how many years?
I've only
Come on,
been coming
YouTube
for,
and
like,
algorithms.
I've only been coming for like less than a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you've been coming forever. You're our family.
I know, right?
That's so
I
weird.
think it's only been like 7 months,
Time is so weird.
right?
I was just
In
saying the other
fairness,
day,
Jess and I
didn't
quit
come to your
drinking
guys'
5 months
wedding
ago, and
because
it's been
I
the
didn't feel like
longest
I knew you enough
5
to
of our months of
come.
our life.
That's so crazy.
I was like, oh, I should go, and then I was like, no, that's
I thought
just
you
for
quit
like your
drinking before I
friends'
went to school.
friends.
What?
This is
Stopped
why you
drinking
need to
before I
do
went
it
to
again.
school.
is that funny?
That was 5
Because-
months
Well,
ago.
she's been
It was
very
more
nice
than 5
reviews
months
Like
ago.
3 years. Let's just.
We
do
were
it
just
every,
cutting
like,
back.
4
Every
years.
3 years.
Or every 3 years. Yeah. I think so. I think
Isn't that
nice.
nuts though?
It is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is nuts. Okay.
Salty
Let's
nuts. Salty
start
nuts.
with the land acknowledgement.
Thank you.
The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge the land we gather on. Wakinstas is the ancestral territory of the Siksika Sitapi, the Siksika, the Kainai, the Pikani, the Amskapi Pikani. We acknowledge all the Treaty 7 signatories, including the Sutena people, as well as the Ayarhe Nakota nations, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley. This land is also home of Métis Nation Region 3 and all others who call this place home. Thank you for joining us. This is 506. I clearly didn't
And
put
why
the
is that
wheel
special?
because Rich only thought there was going to be 6 Wednesdays, and then
500 Wednesdays
after that,
after the promise.
it was really special. I shared that video, and I work with Vince Varga's aunt,
Yeah.
and it was just like really cute to see because Vince now has like a young child. He's married. Isn't that
Right,
cute?
Vince has a young child.
Vince. First piece of inspiration.
I'm a big boy now.
Right? So cute. The Valley of Amazement. Place of constant pain
Wow.
and gnawing bewilderment.
feeling that right
Also
now.
known as life.
So this is from a 12th century Persian poem called The Conference of the Birds. And it's all about
Love it.
there's some this is one of my favorite books because of the paper it's printed on, first of all, but also just the illustrations are
I don't know that.
are stunning. Hold on, there's one where all the birds take off in their journey. There's a million iterations of labyrinths. There's thanks. You're really pretty too.
I never sit on I never sit on this side of Jessica because I'm deaf in this ear. And so I just happen to be on this side, but I'm like, wow, she ever look good from this side too.
It's a good sign. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Like with the, I don't know if the people at home can see this, but the illustrations in here and like all the iteration labyrinths have been coming up a lot. So this is first, Valley of Amazement, place of constant pain and gnawing bewilderment. And if anyone wants to look at it, it's a really pretty book, and it just the pages feel really nice. From the Conference of the Birds. Oh look, let's just do a bird theme. I didn't bring the circle out. A Valley of Amazement.
Oh my god.
Find compassion from
That's like multi-layered.
the wisdom of the big bird.
No, before that, go back. You said the Valley of Amazement.
And
So,
you're like, oh my god. I know, it's funny.
It's like multi-layered.
Find compassion. So first,
Because the Valley Girl and the Amazement at the same time. Just in case you didn't catch it. Just text in if you thought it was funny.
Dive in and explain it. Just
We're gonna get my inspiration from
kids
the
explaining. What does Big Bird have to say?
Big Bird, find compassion. We have to find a great deal more kindness than is ever spoken. Ralph Waldo Emerson. One evening in early December, I had just finished a satisfying day of taping Big Bird's adventures. Instead of riding my bicycle home as usual, I decided to walk to my apartment. It was less than a mile from the old studio, straight down Broadway, and I was in fine spirits as I strolled. Snow was falling lightly, which helped put me in the mood for a coming Christmas season. At around 78th Street, I came upon an elderly man shuffling his feet at the edge of the sidewalk, taking tiny steps, but not moving past the curb. I glanced at him and thought perhaps he was another of the poor souls one often sees on Broadway, angry, disturbed, or simply drunk. I moved quickly past him without making eye contact and crossed the side street. Something made me look back at him. He was still in the same place, looking bewildered, and upset. Maybe he wasn't drunk. I went back to him and asked if he was all right. He said that he was afraid of falling on the wet pavement and that he lived alone, so that if he hurt himself, no one would look after him. I was mortified. All he wanted was a little help. I took his arm and we stepped down into the street. The thought came to me that this small step would seem huge and perilous if one was frail. I walked him several blocks to his door. He thanked me, and as I continued on home, I felt terrible that my first thought hadn't been of compassion for this man. Then it hit me. If compassion is something lacking in the world, perhaps it's something we should teach on Sesame Street. Big Bird could do that. He could teach children about being compassionate. Now I'm going to cry. And isn't that weird that it was about bewilderment and the first one was about bewilderment? So, and
It's not that
then
weird.
the last one.
I'll tell you something though.
Okay.
I was really struggling for something that I felt like painting. And I kept seeing stuff that I didn't feel like painting, and I was like pushing and pushing and pushing for some sort of inspiration. But then to hear about Carol Spinney
Yeah.
riding his bike down Broadway,
Oh,
I suddenly saw the most vivid image in my head of Big Bird riding his bicycle down the street.
that's so beautiful.
Pretty fun, hey?
love
I know that that's not what was happening in the story,
No, it's beautiful.
but it is now.
It was, yeah. Okay, next. The last piece of inspiration comes to us from Poems to Save the World with Bad New Government. Love. I woke in an empty flat to a bad new government. It was cold. The fridge was still empty. My heart, that junkie, was still chomping on the old fuel. Vroom. I start the day like a tired motorcyclist. I want to go very fast and email you about the following happy circumstances. Early rosebuds, a birthday party, a new cake recipe. But today it's hot water bottles and austerity breakfast, and my toast burns in protest. You are not here, of course, but you live in me like a tiny valve of a man. You light up my chambers. Later, I will call to you about the new prime minister, the worrying new developments, and about how I am writing my first political poem, which is also always about my love for you. And that picture is really lovely. It's about an angry lady letting her toast burn.
That was really good. Who's that by?
Emily Berry. And it illustrated by Chris Riddell. So Chris Riddell collected a bunch of poems, and so he has different collections. And then he does all the illustrations, and he's just really magical illustrator. I learned about him because he illustrated Neil Gaiman's Art Matters.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
have some of those. One of those.
Art Matters.
If anybody finds a copy of Art Matters, Jess and I probably bought about 14 copies, and we
Skip
always give
away.
them away. Well, especially like
We
the
should just keep
librarians.
buying
and things.
more.
What?
No.
I might have two.
Oh, I'd love a copy if you have one.
If you have
It's just that we it's
I
now we
bought
gotta
a bunch
order.
of them when I was at Blue Rock. I bought a bunch of your books too, and a bunch of some old books that you illustrated, like the Redux. one.
Fun.
I thought maybe if I ordered them through the bookshop, like a different bookshop, that it
Yeah.
might boost. I
Chelsea,
don't know.
that's so nice.
Yeah, my publisher was saying she might do a hard copy of the River Troll.
That'd be fun. So I bought all your poetry books and the ones, anyone that I could find where we ordered them through. But yeah. Okay, cool beans.
Here, Matthias.
You already turned away.
Yeah, the Valley of Bewilderment, a place of constant pain, and something is really good. It's here, and then the Carol Spinney was about finding more compassion and bewilderment, and then bad new government
And Spark Toast.
and burnt toast. And now we make art.
And we make art.
Oana, I'm just gonna send you the money from last week. I didn't realize your email was here the whole time. I'm so sorry. I'm sending it right now.
No,
Thank you.
I just need to figure out what.
Don't forget me either.
Oh yeah, did you get? Can I have your new email?
I sent it to Rich and I sent it to you.
Oh, thank you.
I hope my message earlier when I said money made sense.
It totally
It
did.
was So long.
No, honestly, I was like, I understood all of that.
Every time I send like an e-transfer, I write like a paragraph.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
know.
did this time.
I love you guys.
Really?
My
do, yeah.
my like adding up and then your paragraphs always coincide. So I'm like, I like it.
I was like, I think these are the pieces I bought. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I have some more. I think I have like there's a few pieces there too
Yeah,
because I remember you were getting them together and I went
Yeah.
through. There's a few there. So yeah, you don't have to take that if you
'Cause I
are.
haven't been here.
on transit
I
and
just
stuff.
remember the duck piece.
Yes. See, on the topic of the dead ducks,
Yes,
it's all a loop.
it is always. Do you have last week's paperwork up here or in the back? Because I'll check and see what's sold and then
Yeah, it was funny. I was
post
like,
the other
sold
stuff.
this for this, sold this for this. Would have gotten
Don't
this, bought
bang
this
the
for this,
table.
bought this for this.
Oh, I did it! I just did it. Sorry.
Chelsea, did I have boba piece of yourself?
No, it is here. Do you?
It's still here?
Yes.
I couldn't remember. Because also I didn't have watched like the last like 3 or 4.
No,
but
that
I
is
was tired.
totally fine. Totally fine. It is here. The happy boba.
There was a lot that sold that week. Oh right, at least
And last week was a good week. I mean, all rumbles are good.
I was like, what happened last week was the reason I didn't watch it. The bunnies. The bunnies tried to kill each other. We got 2 bunnies in my apartment now, and apparently bunnies are more territorial than cats.
Yeah.
So they will kill each other if you don't bond them properly.
my
Bond.
my children had bunnies because we couldn't have cats,
Yeah.
and we built them this really. We converted a dresser into a bunny hutch. And
Yeah.
it promptly got too small. They were 2 little dwarf bunnies, brother and sister. So we built a picket fence inside
In your
to house
butt.
the bunnies, and they promptly learned how to hop over the fence. So the picket fence stopped, and then we put up plywood,
Hello?
and they learned how to climb over that, and they
Hello?
chewed through the cord of our
Hi.
Twixties. And then Ash's bunny, Fever, started eating Twixie, Tyson's bunny, and like pulling all the fur out of its
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. They'll
And
start.
so its
they'll start
back
biting the
was
fur.
like,
Yeah.
And they were siblings.
Steven,
Like, this is
Steven? Did you drive here?
So
Yeah.
Can you move your car forward a bit?
Yeah.
It's David Belcor asking me to ask you because he wants to share the parking.
And this is Radar.
Do you guys know each other's cars?
Fiance calls it.
See, actually,
I guess.
Princess bunnies were adorable too. Twixie and
Yeah,
Beaver.
it's in the
So
pictures.
cute.
Yeah, we built like these big enclosures.
Yeah, that's how tall our picket fence
So like
was.
we have like we have an X pen, so like for like puppies that we use for the one, and then we built the other one. You know those like things that you make for kids, like to make shelving, and they have like the little circle of things on the corner.
Mhm.
We literally use those to build more. So
This is my friend Jen.
Hi, friend Jen. How are you?
Good.
How are you? Is that a patch on your jacket, or does it just come with a patch on your jacket?
it probably came with
Oh, it's a good patch. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, me
That
too.
was before the turbo. So yeah, it could be like a very short.
You got so excited or scared. I don't know what happened.
Well, I was like, don't worry,
How
I'm not
round she
going
is
to bump
when
the
she
table
goes
because I'm just watercoloring and then my legs
She's
are
nice.
kicking the leg.
She does it for attention.
When he's focused, I'm like, pay attention to me.
We've been having some issues, but they're just like starting off. So
We also had a hedgehog, and it was. But this is the cutest story. Tice saved up all his money to get a hedgehog, and he was going to call it Hedge 2D2 because he was obsessed with it. And we went to the pet store, and the guy was like, "Well, the only hedgehog we have is a girl," and he's like, "Mom, I cannot call a girl hedgehog D2. That's not okay." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure the hedgehog doesn't care." He's like, "It doesn't matter." I'm like, "Okay, what are we calling the hedgehog?" Bella. Bella the hedgehog.
I love
Did we
that.
not come up with something more Star Warsy? We went from Hedge 2D2 to Bella? It's very
Edge
sad.
3PO.
I know, there was so many options. No, it's Bella.
You sound so disappointed.
I want those different.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
My sister got a dog when she was in grade, like, I don't know, 2. And I wasn't allowed to touch the dog. It's my sister's dog.
Yeah.
Imagine being like grade 1 and having a dog in your house that's like not open to your
Touch.
interaction.
Oh.
So I wished I had my own dog. I think that took till about grade 5. And so between grade 1 and 5, I came up with all the coolest names. I really had like in my mind, like how just like this moment where like I get to name my own dog. My grandmother sent me a dog. It came in a box. My sister's dog's name was Snoopy, which was like every time Snoopy got out of the yard, we're running around the neighborhood going, Snoopy. So I had these cool, tough names for my dog. Dog comes in the mail, and on the box it says, "Hi, I'm Skippy. Take care of me." And I was like, Did you have to name my dog Skippy? And so Skippy and Snoopy used to break out of the yard because they were renegades. And our neighbor had a dog named Sheba that would eat chihuahuas or whatever was the rest of the chihuahuas, like part chihuahua, part terrier, whatever. So for years I was running around the neighborhood yelling Skippy, Snoopy, and all I wanted was like a Max or like a killer Thug Life or something.
Odin. Thug life.
We used to get cats from my grandparents' farm all the time. Like every time we went to visit, we'd bring home cats because they had many. And every time I'd pick out a white one and we'd get home from our 3-hour drive and I'd open the box and it would look at me and scratch me and run away and never be seen again.
Mm.
Every single time.
That's the thing
And I
about
read a
pets,
thing-
right?
Well, I read a thing just recently that most white cats, they're white because they're genetically, something's wrong with them. They're deaf and they don't have great eyesight. And I'm like, no wonder my cats always run away.
My cat, when we got her, all her siblings were white except her. And like the foster, like mom was telling me how like half of them are deaf.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah, no
wild.
wonder it ran away.
It's like our calico. She's like mostly white, but she has arthritis.
Yeah.
Like she's a baby.
We also had a cat named Priest because he was all black and he had a little white patch on his throat. So we named him Priest. He
Okay,
just
like
showed up at
Judas
our farm one day and moved in with us. And he taught himself how to pee in our toilet.
Like out of his own fruition, he just
Yeah.
did it on his
Single
own.
mom, 2 girls. We'd never closed the bathroom door. It was just the thing. And we were all sitting watching a movie night and her peeing and we looked and it was the cat. Even the toilet.
That is really
It's like, I am a human now.
I mean, there's worse.
There's worse things that can happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, right.
I
You
have a
know,
cat
you know
that
what though?
Shouldn't have been around children. He gone.
So I was watching the show one time, and they were talking about the process on how to get a cat to pee in the toilet. And you'd start out like there's a process, and the process went the first day you would put the litter box next to the toilet, and then the following week you would put the litter box on a book next to the toilet, and you keep moving the litter box up until you move it onto the toilet, and then you take the litter box away. And then it was kind of a fad, right? And then I remember seeing on the same show where they explained how to do it. They're like, we haven't really heard this much about this fad. Whatever happened to this fad about getting your cat to use the toilet? And the vet that used to appear on the show is like, well, I got 2 words for you. Why this fad did not catch on. And I can't remember what the first word was, but the second word had to do with worms.
Oh.
Everyone just quiet.
Are you some animals?
I'm not sure.
I'm a farm kid. We got dewormed every year with the animals.
Kids did?
With the animals.
My mom just gave
That's
us the
my
pills.
worst nightmare. How did you know that you needed to be dewormed?
It didn't matter.
Everyone's getting the pills.
Because my fear is like seeing them squirming out of me.
Oh,
That's
I
my
know.
worst.
It was a thing.
I felt it
It just-
myself.
There was a way you can test, but we were never tested.
What's the way you can test?
What is the
I
test?
never
Yeah.
want animals
Do
ever.
you really want
No, I don't. I don't want to
No.
know.
Flashlight. Rich ass.
Rich should know.
So I was teaching in a class one time, and the
Okay.
grade 1 teacher had mentioned that she was looking forward to moving out of grade 1. I was like, grade 1 must be great. She's like, worms.
She's
No.
not sure still.
Yeah, no. gross.
Did you ever see a worm?
Literally my reaction every time I see a pig.
Did you ever see a worm
On the farm? Yes.
on a body?
On a human? No. On the ground? Yes.
Seems about right.
Like a worm. Like we've seen worms.
Well, they go somewhere when you deworm animals. So
Do you mean like animal worms? They don't look like human worms. I mean like yard worms, right? What do they look like?
they're tiny and white.
Can we not talk
I
about
hate
this?
this conversation.
Yeah, I'm like everything's crawling.
We're going home with a
I
flashlight
also
tonight, baby.
hate maggots.
Can we not talk about bugs?
Did Bethany's make Joy sell?
What?
I bought it.
You bought it.
I bought it.
I'm trying to change the
Make
subject.
joy.
Did anybody buy the cool stick guy?
That's so specific. I really appreciate it.
Cool stick guy.
The stick with the feathers. that
Oh
looks like
no, cool stick guy is still here.
Somebody write us a theme song for Cool Stick Guy,
Cool
please.
stick guy still here.
I learned some indigenous games this week, and one of them's called Scream and Run. Guess what you do?
They're the most comfortable
You
thing
scream and
I've
run.
ever-
You both scream and run, yes. And the other one's called Catching Sticks, I think. Do you know what you do?
Do you catch sticks?
Yeah.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
I
There's
like
such-
I
yeah,
like to understand what is expected of me actually.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
But I just want to scream and run all the time now.
Yeah. Actually, maybe tomorrow I just play that.
It's
instead of
hard.
teaching.
Yeah.
What did you learn?
Scream and run. It's a game.
And the other one's called
I
Stick.
can't scream or run. I don't think I would win that game.
What?
I can't scream or run. I don't think I would win that game.
A beater down a chair.
I didn't say how long I'd have to run.
What you do is
front
you-
door.
You,
Is this a panel on something?
No, we're just sitting at a table on this live screen. We're not.
It just looks awfully
The royalty, you gotta
formal.
Oh.
so, if you really want to know,
It's science fair.
I got busy and forgot my other camera. And so we're just sharing a camera.
It's cute. Sharing is caring.
You guys should
But
share.
we're also trying to do the part where we get people to come in and spend money here too. So this part is like the sharing part. Did you share your link?
I just walked in the door.
But did you share the link?
Whose link? I literally just walked in the door, Rich. And I mean, yes.
It was
What?
really.
I was trying to remind you to share the link. As soon as you
I
make yourself comfortable.
will
share the link.
Did you just say you will share the link?
I will do such a thing.
Liar!
What?
No.
Lies!
Like
I can
that.
see who shared the link, by the way.
All lies!
Like in
It gives me a really nice
Princess
little
Bride.
thank you notice. It says, David just shared the link.
Do you remember in Princess Bride when it's the cute witchy couple? And then he's like, "There's no such thing as love," and she goes, "Liar!" That's my favorite
I
line.
say it all the time to people. It really motivates them to do better.
Totally.
They're like, let's go do this. Like, you're a liar. We're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything.
I love that.
Lying.
Oh, I did art.
It's been hard, but it really,
Grabs the attention.
it really does. Because otherwise, people make pretend plans, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go do that."
And then you call them on
liars,
it,
they stop
and then they're like,
false plans.
"No, you were supposed to."
Look, if we don't have to keep this place open and I can have weekends, that's like one story.
Self-hate is over.
If people are upset that their piece didn't sell well, that's another story. If they're not sharing the link, then that's a third story. And eventually one of these universes is gonna reach outside of the other universes, right? So
Oh no, we're talking about social.
yes, but I'm just saying, like, my thing about sharing the link always comes down to will we be here next month? And sometimes I feel like I'm the link bad guy, like, oh, Teru is talking about the link again. Why won't he shut up? And it's like, just trying to stay open.
I think I'm supposed to go.
What link are we talking about?
See, I think tomorrow's self-care.
So I've been doing this.
The link thing might not be working anymore. It might be that we've like run our the length of like, oh well, in person worked out and then online worked out and then now
You're reevaluating.
You know what really works is if I can convince people to post their own pieces,
yeah.
because I post everybody's pieces and that hits my feed. I get likes all week long on stuff I posted Wednesday night.
Oh, we get bids like all night long too. 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll bid $50 on number 17. I'm like, please.
Dum dum.
The live feed is at it's 9 o'clock on Wednesdays.
We love your enthusiasm. Bye.
It's Thursday now. Have a great weekend.
I think I pre-bid at 3 a.m. one time. That's what I'm saying.
That's fun.
Pre-bid? Pre-bid's
Pre-bid
fine.
On the
3 a.m. is never polite.
on something.
That's totally fine.
I was at a fire and with people at school.
Oh, like not a bad fire.
So I also
Oh, I
sent
think
you
it's
links
for
to
the-
the events every week, and I wondered if you knew why I kept sending you that duck picture. That was if you wanted to join the link, the
The
live feed.
Wi-Fi at the house was just
Yeah. No, I just wasn't sure if you knew why I was sending it because I thought maybe he just thinks I'm
I
nuts.
don't want to know.
the Wi-Fi at the house was couldn't hold up to
Couldn't even.
any kind of like
Yeah.
it couldn't even. I couldn't even Google things sometimes.
The Wi-Fi. God damn.
Happy New Year's, everybody, by the way.
Have we not seen you this
I
year?
don't know. Life's been going really fast lately, and then I blinked
Anything.
and I realized it's like end of January.
No, it's
Yeah, I
awesome.
appreciate
I
it.
feel
Oh,
like
it's
David,
not
maybe your
January,
birthday is in
February.
January.
Oh, it's in August.
Oh, okay.
I'll celebrate a secondary birthday in January.
I guess it's your half birthday right now.
Happy birthday.
Happy half birthday.
It's my half birthday only, though.
Happy half birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, anger.
I celebrate a half birth week on my half birthday.
Yeah.
Usually, like people with Christmas birthdays do half birthdays or something of the like.
My mom keeps bringing up the fact that I'm turning 25 this year. She's like, "You're so old." And I'm like, "Mom,
What does that make you?
exactly." Well, my dad.
I have a kid who's 20. What? Gross. I'm not old enough to have a 20-year-old
Do you
kid.
think my mom should be concerned that I'm turning 25? Is the fact that her youngest is turning 24.
You know, when I was 18, it seemed to me the idea of being 28 was ancient, right? And I remember what were 40-year-olds when I was 18. They just seemed like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
By the time I'm 25,
But between 25 and 30 goes really fast, and between 30 and 40 goes even faster. Your perception on life just keeps changing, but youth doesn't last for anybody, right? So like 20-year-olds are looking at you going, 25, oh, that sucks for you. I mean, I guess it's over. And you're like, dude, like it's just starting. And everybody's life is like that. And I just remember that. I remember one time getting in this debate with this kid who was in grade 8, and he's just like, yeah, you're old and your life's over and you're just mad because you're old. And I was like, oh, whatever, man. And then he grew up and his hair fell out and he was like, looks like he's 10 years older than I am. And not that there's anything wrong with your hair falling out, but it was just like, he was making fun of me because I had gray in my hair, and then his hair turned gray too. Like it all happens. Like everybody gets older. And the trick is, what you want to happen is when you do end up 80 and you see those kids, you want them to try and help you down the alley. You want them to be like, old man Teru always did his best. Instead of like kicking
any kids to leave me down an alley.
You have to.
I have to point that out.
You have to, though, because they're going to be what's left when you're really old, right? And it happens to everybody. You can't count on staying young. It's
I think the opposite. I hope those young kids leading to like death.
Yeah. It's true. I'm gonna be cynical and grumpy.
I don't know.
you know how I enjoy your company, David, the most is I pretend you're playing the opposite game. Every time you say something, I pretend it's the opposite, and you just said something really nice and optimistic. And
It was optimistic.
no, I do think you play the opposite game. Like when you say you hope the kids lead you to your death, I know you're saying, I hope things turn out good in the end, right?
That's a way of saying it.
See? And when you say that's a way of saying it, I imagine you're saying that's exactly what I meant.
You're just optimistic about meeting your dreams and goals.
And if we're all on the same page, there's no need for this.
Not really.
Did what, sorry?
Theo's pieces.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, Rich,
What?
Every time I
when do you know you have to go to the hospital when you've cut your finger open and it won't stop bleeding?
Yeah, I was like,
What's
I didn't
Kelly saying?
graduate that
I can't
long
hear
ago.
anything.
Can't hear you, Kelly.
Oh, I'm saying that my finger's bleeding and it won't stop.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I cut my finger open.
Won't stop.
So can you please go take care of yourself, Kelly?
What do you ask? I'm sorry, what do you ask me?
When do you act if it doesn't stop? Do I go to the hospital? You think?
You're talking to the wrong person because I'll put duct tape on my finger and forget about it.
Me too.
my dad got that like
This one's deep.
You need to apply pressure.
I am doing that.
Are you alone in the house?
Steve's upstairs.
Just put the finger right up to the screen. Let's see the blood.
Bleed everywhere
Oh.
you can. There you go. You make your mark.
I'll change the camera over so I can see it. Hold on.
Leanne's joining from the basketball tournament at school. Hi,
That
Leanne.
looks fine. I would just what you do is put some disinfectant in it, and when I put the Band-Aid on, what I do is I try and pull the wound tight.
Okay.
That doesn't look like you're gonna lose the finger though.
No, it's all over the place. The blood though.
I don't think you're gonna enjoy waiting in the waiting room to get that fixed.
Yeah.
No, like you said, just a Band-Aid.
Are you by yourself, Kelly?
Downstairs I am.
No, is there somebody home with
Steve's
you?
upstairs.
Oh yeah, he's upstairs.
Go put some pressure on it. Put a Band-Aid around it, and sit next to your partner in case you pass out. And if he passes out, have him carry you to the car. I don't think that looks like an ambulance trip to me, though. Kelly, I'm not a doctor,
Okay.
right?
Anyone watching, we are not medical professionals.
No, I felt nauseous actually earlier, and you probably saw this going up and down. I was pouring water over top of myself.
So, Jess came back to the gallery one time when I'd been left by myself for a while, and I forgot to tell her that I stepped on a nail. And then at the end of the night, after like she was gone for a while, I stepped on a nail. And then before bed, I was like, "Oh yeah, can you just look at my foot?" And she's like, "There's a hole in your foot." And I was like, "Yeah, I stepped on a nail." She's like, "Are you supposed to get this checked?" I'm like, "I don't know, like it stopped bleeding." And then she's like, "What about tetanus?" I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I did a tetanus shot in like grade 8." She's like, "I think you're supposed to." So she kind of wigged me out. Like I thought I was going to be fine, but she was convinced I needed to go get a tetanus shot.
You probably should have.
We did. I drove him down.
We went down. The nurse was trying to like really scare me, like, oh yeah, you know, you should have more tetanus shots than once every.
You should have more tension. Kind of like those deworming pills. Like just
But-
do it every once in a while.
The moral of the story, Kelly, is I'm not the person to ask
What's
about
he
cuts because
I also did that. The exact same story with a nail.
Oh,
I
jeez.
still have
I
a
mean,
scar on the bottom of my
there's a thing about like if you've ever worked construction or something, it's like you have this idea of like, oh, I need stitches, and then you get a construction job and you're like, oh, just get me the staple gun, you know? So
Super
Do you
good.
want to hear a crazy story about my dad?
I
Yeah.
feel like we should look.
Okay, my dad's a butcher.
right,
And
Kelly,
has a kill
Chelsea's
floor.
dad is a butcher. Show her your wound.
Yeah, his hands have no feeling because they're all numb. But he used to butcher pigs, and I was there with him one night. And there's you hang pigs up on a little hook that goes like this and flares out,
Yeah.
and you reach up and you hang them up. Well, they're greasy and slippery, right? And so he hung up one side, and he went to hang up the other side, and he slipped, and he got his arm.
No.
And pigs are heavy, right?
Yeah.
So he pulled it out, and it was just him and I was like 8. And he was like, huh. And his muscle was like bulging out. So he poured some disinfectant over it, stuffed it back in, and duct taped it.
Oh my god.
And finished working.
Yeah, you know,
So I
the
am
power
also not the person to
screwdriver.
ask about hospitals.
Can you put it?
One thing I've heard from people that I know that were
That's my dad who's in the Philippines. He may have heard me tell that story.
Did you go upstairs, Kelly?
Chelsea's dad. I'm glad. I hope you're okay.
I
hope your muscle is okay.
Feeling in any of his fingers because he's cut himself so many
Oh,
times
that-
they're just-
but that
I'm just
makes
moving
sense.
to the butcher thing.
That's
Yeah.
different than working your muscle out of your
I'll go upstairs for a few minutes. I'm just kind of waiting. Because if I
Wait,
say
you wanted
that,
to say about your finger. Did you show your finger to your partner?
Whenever a farmer comes in,
oh, wait till I show it to him. He actually faints beside the blood, so this is going to be fun.
then you know there's like
an issue.
There's-
a
there's
serious
gonna
issue.
What did you cut?
All right,
What did you
yeah,
cut it
yeah.
with?
Yeah,
because
I cut it with this
yeah. If
they
you
just
choose
they
to
just
go on
duct
your
tape it
own,
up.
Yeah.
X-Acto knife.
I
Wait,
think it'd be okay, but
Went
if
for
it,
both my fingers actually.
well, if it makes you feel better, get to the hospital
Shoppers
or
sells
walk
this
in.
tattoo, I can-
Oh, I'll probably be fine. This is the second time I've cut it deep.
I don't want to go to the hospital.
yeah.
Maybe somebody in the in the feed can help you better than me. I don't really know much about I have a just general grit your teeth and bear it attitude, so I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
a good at-
if you're taking care of yourself, then it's like, no, I'm good. But when it's for someone else, it's like, I don't know how you're feeling right now.
yeah.
You know?
It just hurts, that's for sure. Obviously.
I can't help you with that.
I don't.
If you're
Well,
here, I would kiss your
I'll
boo
be
boo.
on the feed. I'll still be on the feed. I'm just kind of holding while I'm doing other stuff.
Can I ask you? Did at any point did you feel like crying?
No, I actually felt faint, so I dumped water on myself.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about you bleeding to death. I am worried about you fainting and hitting your head. So I think it would be really wise for you to go sit next to your partner.
And just have
Alright.
like a nice sip.
I'll be here.
Have an apple juice.
Yes.
My dad would say put a wet towel around your head. I don't know why. It was a solution for
It
everything.
actually does help.
My grandpa would put Dettol on it.
Vapor rub is not going to help her finger.
Dettol might.
No, but it would help you
Disagree.
breathe.
My mom
Oh,
did.
to breathe. Yes. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Kelly, did you disinfect?
Do not spray Windex anywhere.
Kelly,
No, it hasn't stopped bleeding yet.
Jess, when you have a moment, there's 15 posts waiting for.
Oh, you're amazing.
Or
See, what is
17. I'm a liar.
what is the point of me saying that they don't need the like approval of the person when I have to do it anyway? You know what I mean? Like, because at the
It's
front,
always just me.
When I
because
make
think
it,
When it stops bleeding, I'll go upstairs.
it's so weird though. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just like it's super confusing because I always try to click.
Kelly,
it.
we could always make
when
it
it stops
in
bleeding, there's
I
no
could
need to
just-
go
I
a- but I
upstairs.
don't know how to do that.
Here,
Yeah,
I'll try to figure it out for
Do you get what I'm saying?
next week's thing.
yeah, I
and then-
hear ya.
'cause
So if
then-
you're gonna ask
'cause
for
then
help,
I
you
always
gotta take
check-
my
there's an
advice.
option and I click it.
Yeah.
Then I,
Go sit with your
not that
partner
I care about
upstairs,
doing it.
please.
I appreciate your help.
Yeah,
if
I'll
you-
be back down in a little bit. I'll just leave this guy sitting here.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
It's hard. Submit it to the hospital.
My shoe.
Yeah, your shoe.
Was that fair? Did I say the right thing?
Mhm.
It's
I don't know.
February 1st.
Uh huh.
Yes.
Yes, he said the right thing.
Thank
It's
you.
all
Oh,
stupid.
it almost works.
Why did bus passes in February cost the same as every other month, but we lose like 3 days? It's stupid.
Truth.
Yeah,
Don't
bus
get us
passes.
Obviously,
Are,
very much.
bus
Why is my rent
passes.
the same in February as every other month?
Bus passes are not priced out well. You basically have to use them 3 times a day to pay for them.
I do something real shady to get my cheap.
It's just Leffy.
My feed.
I'm not disclosing what I do. Just it's shady. Like,
Yeah,
it's like their
it's-
interpretation.
When you think about it, like to park at work, which is not downtown, but like Beltline, if you get there before 9, it's $11 for the day. To take the bus, it's like $6.
No, bus passes are not. I've been going on about this
No,
for
it
weeks.
doesn't make sense though. Like for an extra $4, I can park right there.
No,
I mean, obviously, if you're right downtown,
and
it's a lot more
it doesn't make
expensive,
sense. But don't get me started because I will go on for hours. There's
I could join
there's
you,
a
so
lack
let's
of
not-
logic and a lack of empathy when it comes to buses.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, the city bus. I don't know what's like in other cities, but the way bus passes run in this city is really an indication of how Calgary, Alberta, as a city, has a deep lack of empathy outside of the comfort of Joe downtown suburbs. That the buses are absolutely packed during rush hour from people that don't want to pay for downtown parking. If your options are $280 a month for a parking pass or taking the bus, then the system works for you. If you need to take the bus to get groceries, it's cheaper to take a cab than go with your partner to Walmart, and that's insane. And the other thing is this blew my mind, is because I had an opportunity to say to somebody, it'd be really fantastic if City Council took the bus for a month before they voted on the bus prices, and their solution was to make buses available to children. If
Put the kids on the bus.
No, but that's the philosophy. Is that on the one hand, buses
They're
aren't
quick.
safe for adults to ride unless put kids on. If there's kids on the buses, then the bad guys will be too embarrassed to misbehave in front of the kids, and it's like that's kind of
Really bad.
And a complete not understanding about how they're not bad because they want to be bad. They're like,
No, But the other problem is there, and I heard people even say, they were saying we're going to raise the bus pass price.
They've already raised it.
They were going to raise the bus pass price for the purpose of changing the quality of the rider. That they thought this is like out of touch. They think if the ticket price goes up, then the people that are causing problems will stop taking the train. People that are causing problems do not pay for tickets, right? So the ticket price does not affect them. And really, it's just a matter of like, it's just a lack of, that's actually, so I once had this opportunity to go work for this politician who was a conservative politician. I'm like, does he know I'm a communist? And he was impressed with my TED talk, and I was offered a straight up just go to this job interview and whatever. That politician was ousted because he'd made a comment saying Albertans are, we made our bed, now we have to lay in it. And typical Albertan Joe Public was like, I can't believe he said we made our own bed. But what blew my mind is he, being maybe the most open-minded politician I'd met in a while, had no idea that there was people that didn't contribute to our deficit. He had no idea the marginalized people. He just thought, he looked around the table and thought, this is what Albertans look like, and we're all the same. He had no idea that there's a world outside of his bubble. And it absolutely blows my mind. And somebody wrote an article in the Metro 10 years ago about how I'll pick up signs, right? And so 5 times a year, I get phone from politicians saying, hey, I heard you can recycle these signs. I really don't want them in the landfill, and they can't be in a dumpster. So you got to promise you'll find a use for them. There's no use for these signs. Every single politician I've spoken to, I'm like, why do you even print these signs? They're like, because these signs win elections. So I might have done some reading about my mayor. I might have done some reading about my my civic councilor for Ward 8 if I was really diligent. But the school trustees, it's just a matter of whoever prints the most signs is who's leading the province and who's leading the city, and it's absolutely insane. Sorry, that was my little rant.
That's our
Very
hopeful
valid.
message for tonight. You can run for a city, anything, and
As long as you want.
as long as you print signs,
No, but
you will
I
get
mean,
votes.
look at. I mean, people say really negative things about our liberal prime minister, but if this is the man that's in touch with the people, I don't know. He had the same upbringing that I had. He seemed to be a little more entitled than the kids I grew up with. And so we just don't have politicians. We have a few. There are a few really special politicians that tied their own laces and saved their own monies. But for the most part, to go into politics, you need to have a disposable income and to be completely out of touch with the common people.
I don't think a sign has never influenced my vote.
No.
But okay, so for instance,
What
for
does
this,
influence your vote though? When it comes to
The
like,
research that I do,
because
so
That's
who's
Not
who's
the
the
norm, though.
okay? But let me ask you this:
school trustee,
who's the school trustee for your area?
I don't know.
So that's what I'm talking
I
about.
spoiled my ballot on that one. 'cause I don't
everybody does because no one even looks. At
Yeah,
them,
so like the
and then
12
they-
people that vote are like cousins of the person
Yeah.
running. It's like
That's
And
that's
often people will go in to vote and go, "Oh, that's a name I saw. I recognize that name.
Totally.
That's why signs."
no, that's the thing about when I pick up the signs and the
Yeah.
first person. I'm not going to name the politician, but the first person that I asked, I'm like, "Why did you print so many signs?" He's like, "Because signs win elections."
Yeah.
And then I asked another person when I picked up the signs, "Why'd you print so many signs?" And they're like, "Because signs." Well, the truth is, if all of the politicians pulled together and shared the cost of the signs, and the signs had a URL, and that URL had all of their platforms, we would be making informed decisions. But it's not. It's just
But they don't want you to make an informed
Right.
decision. They
Yeah.
want you to recognize their name and vote because of that.
yeah.
Not me. When I
I
run,
ran for
I'm
town
taking-
council when I
They would
lived
put,
in
like,
Black Diamond.
I'm
signs
taking
on,
all those
like, school
signs. I'm going to
grounds.
hand paint them. This guy right here didn't spend
And
a
I'm
penny
like,
on
bro,
these
You can't do
signs.
this. You cannot put signs on school grounds.
I
Jeez.
ran for town council and I bought a few signs and put them up. But I lost by 34 votes. That's why I didn't get on town council. But the two people that beat me have platforms that were not true. Like they just were not. One
Like-
was
like
the whole point was we're going to stop this complex from being built.
Yeah, no,
Well,
listen.
it's already been approved. You cannot do that. The other guy's thing was, I want to wash my truck whenever I want to wash my truck. In Black Diamond, there is always a water.
He
restriction.
totally
You
won.
can't even water your grass or your
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
They'll go
Yeah.
wash your truck, and he won. Why? Because he was the Boy Scout leader, and everybody in town knew him.
Yeah.
So it's just a thing. Like you can't.
Well, so like I remember one time
Not
my school was
logical.
having a mock election, and the first kid went up on the gym. They were not prepared, but they're like, "Okay, guys, if you vote for me, free pizza on Fridays." I'm like, "That's not going to happen."
Yeah.
Next kid goes up like, "Oh yeah, if you vote for me, free pizza and longer lunch hours." I'm like, "That's not going to happen." And then I looked over at the social teacher. I'm like, "Are we having a mock election or are we having an actual election?" Because this seems awfully familiar. All right.
That's the thing. Nobody stepped up and went, "Wait a minute, can you actually do these things?"
No, and like, look at
And then one of the counselors who won and beat me happened to be my neighbor and came to my house and complained about how much he hated it. And I was like, really? I would have really liked to do that job as a part-time job. I think it would have been really great.
Mhm.
He stopped coming over to complain about it.
Good.
I do know that for the
Sorry,
school
idiots.
elections, I voted for someone just because his name was Stalin.
Mm.
That was his last name. And it's like,
well,
and his running logo or motto was "Democracy doesn't work, but I do." And I just thought that was really funny, so I voted for him.
Richard. Oh, Richard, it's nice to hear from you.
all right. On the count of three, whether you mean it or not, and I'm sure you mean it, we're all gonna yell, "We love you, Richard." Ready? What?
One,
1,
two.
2, 3.
We,
We love you,
Richard.
Now it will take about 37 minutes for that love wave to hit
Illinois.
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 But be prepared, Richard. Some love is swinging your way.
It's gonna hit like a cement truck.
Ow. It's gonna hit like this thing on the tip of the
Just be by a soft area.
It'll get
So it's
thrown backwards.
You know what's funny, Sky? I had the exact same conversation about politics with a family member of yours around 8 hours ago.
Which family member?
I'm not gonna say. My favorite.
So-and-so.
My younger brother. is what
I never see your younger brother. Where is he?
Because he's in Australia.
Right. Well, tell him to get his shit together. I'm just kidding.
Actually, no, he's in
Get his priorities right and get down to Rumble House. Just kidding.
He's in Bali now.
Bali?
that's nice.
That's exciting.
It's like having children. I feel like I'm raising my 2 roommates.
Oh.
They call me crying. They're like, when will you be home? I was like, why? They're like, because I need you. And I was like, for what? They're like, I don't know.
Oh.
Tell them to come down.
All the way from Deer Run.
Yeah.
I come all the way from Turner Valley.
I have nothing with it.
I've been here
Wow, further than
506 Rumbles in a row. I have this one friend that texts me every week to ask me about the sales. I'm like, why don't you watch the live auction? And they're like, oh, it's a lot of work. I'm like, huh. Just try being here 506 Rumbles in a row. I had to clean up blood in the back alley after a murder. I want to hear that you're tired at 7 o'clock. They left blood in the back alley for a week.
City doesn't.
I went out with a bucket of bleach. I'm like, is this going to spoil an investigation? The investigation had been over for a week, and there was a blood stain that dripped from the back wall into the center of the alley that lasted outside of children's daycare. Sorry.
I know. I was like, wow, we're
fascinating.
welcome to Rumble House.
It's fine. Come on down. It's safe.
It's fine. No, I wasn't even talking about that.
No,
It's
I
like
do
all
forget
this
about that
little-
too. Like,
Yeah.
you know what, David? This will shock
It's their
you.
job to clean it up.
Can I
It's
tell
not
you guys something?
necessarily the cough job, yeah.
I
You can
teach
also
this.
not stab
I
one
teach this
another.
CTF class, and the CTF class has all these provincially mandated questions that have to do with finding your passions and attaching it to a career. And I was telling Sky a story about loving welding and diving and having to clean poop out of a pipe. And then I started working on my Ikigai, which is not the right word for it, but it's still a concept that you might know from social media about finding where your passions and your what you're good at and what the world needs and what you can get paid for overlap. And last week at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, while I was working on my planning, I was like, I should be a cop.
Yeah.
Did I tell you this?
No, but I believe it.
How did you know so fast what I was going to say? You said yes as I was speaking.
Because I've had this conversation with my children that they should also be police. And
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with Galen about his kids being a police.
Yeah, and I
because we
just
need
suddenly
better
out of the
police.
blue decided last Thursday at about 4 in the
Me
afternoon, I'm going to be a cop. And then I phoned Brian Mackesy and I was like, hey, can I be a cop? And the last time I spoke to Brian Mackesy, am I too old to be a fireman? He's like, I'll hire you on Tuesday if you want to come down. And so I almost just, sent my papers in to resign and go join the academy or whatever you do. I'd have to do a little bit of research. And I was asking around, like, can I become a cop? What I really wanted to know was, not am I technically too old, but am I biased? Is there a bias that I won't get hired? But what I really thought was, is if somebody with my teaching experience applied to become a cop, wouldn't they just find a spot for me to go and help people? And a lot of people were not impressed. I don't think Jess was impressed. She never says no to anything. But what stopped me
No,
from
my thing I said right back immediately was, if you struggle in the structure of being a teacher, you're going to struggle the same way.
I wasn't looking for less struggle. I was like, I felt this is how I became a
Yeah.
teacher, though. I was sitting
You're
at
a good liar, though.
what?
No, he's a horrible liar.
No, it's not in my.
You're
He's-
a cop. That's true, man.
but
David, my
shouldn't we
thought
have
was, I
people
believe
that
that
aren't
good
liars?
people.
That's
I
what-
believe that there are good people who are police officers.
Yeah, I do too.
I believe the world would be better if more people
more. Yeah.
were to commit to
Yeah.
that. And ultimately, the thing that stopped me was I realized I forgot I have a deaf ear, and I might not pass the hearing test. And if I did pass the hearing test, I probably wouldn't appreciate the time on the gun range with my hearing. So, yeah, I kind of went through a 2 or 3 hour span where I was like packing up my things, and that's how I became a teacher. Though I was working for a graphic design place, doing things like animating and drawing all day. One day my boss came by and he said, whatever you're working on, just put on hold for the next 4 hours and play this video game. And I was sitting there at work playing a video game going, I bet you there's people who would like to do this. I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if I became a teacher? And I just resigned and became a teacher.
Yeah.
So I was kind of more wondering, like, is it too late in life for me to try out being a cop? And then the second thing was I finally realized that probably my damaged ear would be a problem. But even just with gun practice.
I mean, I got a like justice diploma at Bow Valley because I was like, I'm gonna be a cop.
Did you?
It did.
When?
Well, I have like the diploma, but then I decided it wasn't for me because.
But boy, would I love it if you were a cop. I mean,
Yeah.
for the times I've been pulled over, I would really love if you pulled me over. That would have been way better than my experiences.
I like at the end of the day, I was like, I think I would get fired because I would be like, this person's struggling. I can't give them a ticket.
Or you could give them a ticket and get them the help they need, right?
So there's a cop named Brad Mills, and he's like an actual wicked awesome cop. You've probably seen him on the news. He's talking to people who got shot with points and they go buy buying groceries, and he does also. He's really awesome. There's people like that. Yes, they
Yeah.
exist. But
Yeah,
police
that's-
is like
have
a culture of bullies, right? They bully everyone else, and then they bully each other.
Each
just as much,
other,
right?
yeah.
So it's
That wouldn't bother me.
If you make a mistake and you own up to it, oh, you're gonna get bullied so bad. So that's
That wouldn't bother me.
fly through it, right?
That's the beauty of autism.
I was gonna say that's why I think you'd be really good
Yeah.
at it because I feel like you thrive in those stressful environments for the rest.
I don't
of
thrive off of like conflict, but I'm when I get stressed, when I get elevated, my feelings get put aside and I go straight to logic.
So the story I told you today about my reaction to a coworker and maybe making them cry, when that happened, I got a rash from here to my belly button that stayed for 5 hours because that's how much I don't like confrontation. And it wasn't even confrontation.
Yeah.
It was just
You know
it
that
was
guy.
so uncomfortable.
You know that guy
Yeah.
that got his hand stuck in the rock and he had to cut it off,
Yeah.
and it took him 24 hours.
Yeah, no.
That would have taken me 8 minutes. I would have spent 7 minutes looking at my hand, and then I would have said, "That's not my hand anymore." And I think I would have got it off in under an hour. I go straight to survival mode,
Yeah,
which
I'm the
probably
same
isn't
as
ideal
Rachel.
for you.
No, it's pretty good because I'm the opposite where I would avoid all truth and reality, and so it's pretty good balance. Balance each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no extra
You're like,
work
no,
on
this
my
is
end.
actually happening. I'm like, oh god.
You're like, make it stop.
Yeah,
See, by the time you came to that point, he would have already cut your hand off.
exactly. No, 100%. Yeah. it
Oh,
was-
with her, yeah, no. Like even if I was in the situation where, somebody else's life was in danger, I don't stop and like worry about feelings. I'm like, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. This needs to happen. Chomp down. This is gonna hurt. That's me. Or that's what I was extra gentle with Kelly, I think. But normally it's just like
Your finger's gotta go, Kelly. Just chop it off.
It's not
That's
your
why he was
finger
like,
anymore.
let's see. No, you're good.
This is a duct tape or
It's funny
machete?
because when Ash broke bones, Ash would go to their dad because my solution was always like, "Oh, you're fine." Dad would,
Duct tape.
Dad would be like, "No, they need to go to the hospital." I had to take them to the hospital, but still, I'm always like, "Oh, it's fine. You're
My,
fine."
my parents was don't come to me unless there's a bone sticking out or you're bleeding.
Oh, ours was fire, flood, or blood. Do not get out of your bed unless there's fire, flood, or blood.
Hmm.
Stay there, which
Hey.
was
My-
horrible because then they'd lay there and call your name until you. I just done it as a kid.
Hey,
All
our
night
house
long.
flooded and me and my brother did not move.
Oh, the rules.
Parents were like,
There are rules.
Actually, and then the other extreme, if I did become a cop, I would have had to shut down Rumble House.
Why? Yeah, probably.
Yes.
It's on your Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah, because
that's hilarious. I will.
it's like confusion why I changed it in the first place. It had something to do with the new phone. And then people were sending me cash or money, and it was like not really deals.
Hey, Jess paid somebody for the wrong painting this week.
What do you mean?
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
She sent like money to the wrong artist, and then the right artist was like, "Hey, where's my money?" And Jess is like, "Oh, I sent
No,
it to somebody else."
He was like, hey, where's my money? He was like, hey, did you send out the payments yet? And I was like, yep, but not to you.
And she's laughing. I'm like, "That's not a great way to run the
Mad at
business."
you over that stuff?
They don't usually get mad at me. They're very understanding because I'm like,
Nobody gets mad when she sends them money they don't
No,
deserve.
they get mad
no,
about getting the money.
everyone knows that I struggle with daily things. So I just like, I'm like, I am so sorry. And everyone's super
Is it
understanding.
ADHD or OCD?
I don't know
I'm trying
what
to
my
figure out
problem
what
is. I'm not diagnosed with anything, but I probably
It's just brain.
it's just brain. And it's like it's too many things, and then I start dropping all of the things.
Well, you guys teach full time, right?
Yeah,
So you're at a school 5 days a week.
and dropping the balls there
What are
too.
you doing at the school? Teaching art?
English, art, like everything, and
Oh my
extracurriculars,
God.
and
See this?
homeroom,
This is-
and
So
the
you have the giant kids here.
yeah.
Are you just figuring this out?
Alox, I remember one day I came here from school, and there was like long sticks, and the boys here, someone was walking around the big sticks like they were big penises. I was like, I have to deal with that all day. Put those down. And I just turned into like Satan.
Satan likes when you walk around
You
with your
did
penis
that
out.
ever seriously? I just leave. Like goodbye.
Oh, Jesus,
Start
sad.
crying.
I'll just start
Yeah,
crying.
It was at the end of the night, and they were like putting like big schlongs around. And I was like, get out.
I have the exact opposite experience. What happens to me is one of the kids in my school will draw a penis, and I'm supposed to send them to the office, but I'm like, yeah, like everybody at the art gallery, adults at the art gallery did that last night. Like,
I keep my
Like, this
stuff
isn't-
together at school,
this
but
isn't- this isn't something that people outgrow. You know, it's all through art history. Yeah, right. That's
Oh.
gonna be my next book.
everyone.
Everyone draws
I was at the
It's
back.
not a growing up book. It's an
No.
art book. It's called Everyone Draws Penises.
I was at the back actually, and we were making coffee on the weekend, and there was penises all over the bottom of one of the desks that are back there. And I was like, I was totally thinking that, like, it's like irritating when it's at school, but here it's like, oh yeah, that's just like the desk with the penises on it. I'm like, I'm a totally different person here.
Can I
totally
ask
different
you this, though?
expectations.
When I look under the desks and I see gum, I think, wow, that was directed at me.
Yeah.
Like somebody came in here chewing gum and thought, I could spit this in the garbage when I go rinse my brushes, but what I want to do is take it out of my mouth and stick it under the chair or stick it under the table. So when Rich picks his table up later, he can think of me. And it really, like there's a few things here that when I see gum under the tables, I'm like, that's my table, and I either built it or earned it. And
Yeah.
why did people want to hurt me so much with putting their gum under the table?
Yeah, like I guess I have a little bit more separation at the school stuff,
Yeah.
but I still like it's our studio, so then I always try to talk to kids. But like here,
And you
it's more
find the
personal.
gum when you've reached under the table to
To
put it
move
back where it
it,
belongs
yeah.
because they didn't clean up, and your hand sticks to the table. You're like, oh, thanks for that. Yeah, thank you.
I love doing this for gum.
The other
people.
thing we learned about people is that people that eat at Dairy Queen don't clean up after themselves. I don't know why. Specifically, Dairy Queen means you leave all your wrappers stuck to the desks.
Oh no. I don't do that.
A&W, maybe there's like a wrapper or a cup, but Dairy Queen ketchup is stuck to the table.
And yet Burger King, no. So I would suggest.
I've never seen Burger King here.
Oh, well, there's lots of Burger King.
Have you brought Burger King in here?
No.
I've never seen Burger King in here. I don't think there's Burger King in Calgary.
Yeah, there is.
There's like two or
The
three.
thing with
No
Burger
one
King
ate
is
here,
you gotta
though.
eat
No.
it instantly.
What's that?
You gotta eat it like the second it comes to
Burger
the
King.
directory. Burger King, yeah.
Now, I've never seen any Burger King at the Rumble
Comes out the
House.
window, goes straight into my face.
It has to, because if it's not screaming hot,
You can taste it.
it's not great.
I remember there was these 3 really sweet teenagers. They were just nice kids. Came into the Rumble, had a nice time. They were sitting in the curb in the bike lane. I'm like, oh, you don't have to sit on the curb. And they're eating Dairy Queen. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I thought, Dairy Queen, that's a bad sign. And then 20 minutes later, they were gone. They didn't stay for the whole auction. And at the end of the night, I was walking home, and there was an entire meal left all over the bike lane. I'm like, what is it with Dairy Queen where people don't clean up after
I have an answer
themselves?
for that
What?
versus Burger King, for example. So, because when you look at it, it's Dairy Queen, right? It's like, well, because it's women's job to get after me. I'm just kidding.
I think personally,
I don't listen to
I think
anything
it's that
people
the Dairy Queen tends to be more of a place you go for a treat, and the food might be a little more secondary. It's not their primary market. Is there?
Very interesting. There is a Dairy Queen and an A&W in Black Diamond.
Yeah.
And before the A&W and Black Diamond opened, if you would have asked me my favorite fast food, go to always 100% A&W. Steam burger, 100%.
Right.
it's not very good. So
What?
we've stopped going. The A&W in Black Diamond. It's actually
Sure.
really bad. So we stopped going there, and now we go to Dairy Queen.
Interesting.
And I wouldn't have ever done that before.
Is it specifically the Black Diamond
Yeah.
A&W?
Yeah.
Because I find when it comes to food
Never
quality,
Sorry, Black Diamond A&W.
I find when it comes to food
They're just
quality
watching.
that
They're like,
A&W seems to put the most effort in around here.
Typically, I would agree with that, and that was why it was always my favorite. But they were not.
And then
doing
with
very
our street
well.
clean, I learned a lot about like how garbage evolves on the street. Is that generally we don't see as much Tim Hortons throughout the year, but then during roll up the rim, all of the roll up the rim cups are discarded, and it's like, okay, so normally you drink coffee and you're feeling kind of civilized, so you take that cup and you put it in the waste bin. But when you crack that lid open to see if you won $1 million and you didn't, then it's like, damn it, and then it goes on the floor. So I would find, I mean, cigarette packages we find a lot of, and cigarette butts we find a lot of. Only a few regular roll up the rim cups, but tons of the loser cups from roll up the rim.
I still think there's a big portion of people that don't feel like cigarette butts are garbage. That's why they end up on the ground.
Yep.
That don't feel like they're garbage.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could not think they're garbage. I think what happens is you're smoking a cigarette, and in a way you're committing suicide. You're saying, I'm smoking this because I'm angry. You're not smoking it because your mom loves you. You know, you're like, you could smoke for 1,000 reasons.
we're really covering all the bases here tonight.
Yeah, keep Rich off
Worms,
camera.
nails, and cigarettes.
But
I love when cigarettes were smoking with having doors, and you see the news where people would be like, "You're treating me like I'm a second-class citizen." It's like, no, we just want to die from your cigarette. Like, it's, yeah.
yeah.
100%.
And I'm not trying to stop people from smoking. I'm just saying that, like, I think probably personally, I think that the cancer causing ingredient of cigarettes is guilt. Is people are putting cigarettes, and every time you put that cigarette to your lips, you're like, I shouldn't be doing this. You're manifesting some bad things every time you take a drink. And that's why I think that everybody has that one uncle that didn't believe smoking was bad for them, and they lived to 160, right? I think that there's some unhealthy feelings attached to
Manifesting.
cigarettes, and I think that's why those cigarettes end up on the ground. Because
I have
we'll see
considered
people
as a
flicking the
sober
cigarettes,
person-
and it's not so much they didn't think about it either, right? It's like
Yeah. That's true. It's a bit of an anger.
they flick it with their middle finger every time.
Although I do
Where's
like the
Alox? He could
aesthetic
tell
of
us.
smoking inside.
You like the smell of smoking
No,
inside?
not the smell, the aesthetic. I just think it like
It's true.
It didn't
Cars and
smell like
old,
anything.
like,
Have you ever
Try
lived
many
with a
places,
smoker?
like
if it didn't smell like anything, just like
Just the way it looked.
1920s speakeasy smoking room thing.
I'm conditioned with I think smoking looks super cool,
100%.
Oh, 100%.
it looks cool. It's just bad for you.
especially just dangling.
Did you ever smoke?
Yes.
Who?
Okay. Sorry, was that, you just seem like a person-
I would say everybody in this room smoked at some point.
No, and I didn't smoke much. Not cigarettes, anyways. But I don't do any of that now. But I have thought about this idea of a sober life, and on my birthday every year, would it be acceptable to have a glass of scotch and a cigar? Because those are the one things that I'm like,
I think a cigar is very different.
Yeah, we were talking about cigars too.
well, and a glass of scotch, like a little bit of. I'm like, okay, do you live alcohol free or do you purposely live sober?
You do whatever you want.
I know, and this is what I'm trying to sort out
Navigate.
in
Yeah,
my life
totally.
is which way to go.
I already had a pizza when I was young.
A boys club?
No boys got it, yeah.
You know what was great when we went to Cuba?
I'm not that big.
I was still drinking then, and I went to the bar. I took my kids, and I bought myself
Oh,
some
really?
cigars. And
I'm
every
really
night I was
hungry.
so excited that bartender gave me like
Hungry.
top shelf
What's
frogs.
that?
And he's like, "Coke in it?" And I said, "No,
I
just."
don't know how you're
maybe
hungry.
an
You're talking
ice.
about deworming
And
and nails
as
and
my
teeth
week
and
progressed, the rum that I
bloody
got
fingers.
so
Yeah,
good. By
Here's
the
the
end of
thing,
it,
I don't
it was
in
like
literal
perfect. It
human
would be
shit.
8 o'clock.
and
We were
then
done.
went for
I'd sit
lunch.
on the beach, drink my little rum,
Oh,
have a
yes,
cigar.
feces.
It
Now
was,
I'm
oh,
hungry.
it was the best. It was the best. Yeah, it was really
Good cigars
enjoyable.
are great. Yeah.
Well, and good rum is great.
Yeah, totally. The bad cigars are disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. It was
Rachel
very
keeps
fun.
texting.
It was very fun.
Very
I'm going to
jumpy
get a
today.
pizza.
Oh no. I love that one, like old ladies.
Okay.
Well, and there was some big, and the guy, because he was excited that I was excited about the rum, as it progressively got better, by the end of it, it was like a $600 bottle of rum. But he would curate my rum to my cigar. He'd say, "What are you smoking tonight?" And he would pick the right one. That was quite lovely. Yeah. It was good.
That's my kind of
Just, I've just
It was
watched
pretty
the
nice.
color in the cup just progressively get grayer.
Shade, I know. I can't use it very
It
much
was
longer.
like pink and
I got
purple
some
and then it was,
gesso
like
in there.
lavender, and it was just gray.
Mud. Now it is mud.
Yeah. Pieces of your heart?
I think they're mostly they're all like together with the
You don't
duck
have one of
pieces.
Yes, you do.
It's a duck piece, and I think there's a few. I don't even think there's that many, but there's the duck sculpture.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple with it.
Do you know what you bought?
There's a couple
I
with
remember the
it.
ducks. That's what it is.
I think there's a couple other pieces there, 2 or 3. I
I'm sure
can
you
hear.
Do they have tags? No, they wouldn't.
No, I have been dropping the ball.
That's okay.
You have been doing your best. And I'll be asking.
See, another ball dropped. Thanks, Praxis.
It's like just an extra part of my last long gig. I got hired on as like a technician.
And this is the only time we have been tracked where it has actually been a quiet night when we said something. It's like,
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
Like stuff that I really kind of learned even until so good shit.
Hey, Rich. Rich, it's Kelly.
Are you working on all 3 of them simultaneously?
What's up?
So I'm, my friend's coming to get me. It won't stop bleeding, so we're going to hospital.
Okay.
Hope you're okay, Kelly.
Yeah, I'll watch when I'm in the hospital. It'll be a long wait time.
Can I make a suggest? Next time we talk, I'm going to give you a suggestion about that knife. Okay.
Okay.
Don't open your blade so much.
It wasn't open all the way. It was just like a little bit.
Then you should have a little cut.
But maybe, I don't know.
Your cut will match the size of your blade. Keep your blade more closed in the future. It's probably not the time to have this conversation, but
No, well, I hit both the feet, or both my fingers got hit. The
have
first
you not cut yourself very often, Kelly?
I cut myself another time when I was removing fake plants from a thing, and I didn't know there was barbs on the end.
Is this the worst cut? Is this the worst cut you've ever had?
Yeah.
So it's scary, I know, but you're gonna be fine.
Oh yeah.
Even if you get stitches, it's just scary, and then you get used to it, and then it's like we survived, battling woolly mammoths, without
Yeah.
stitches. So you're gonna be okay.
Well, I've cut myself not on the finger. I've actually opened up my chin and had 150 stitches.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the ducks.
I fell on a manhole cover.
How old were you?
13.
How old?
13.
13. So when you're 13, mom gets to make those decisions, and now it's just more pressure because you got to make those decisions yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, I still have a scar. Actually, you probably never can see it. Well, I always have a mask on, but I have a scar on my chin.
More than 2?
No, I think that's it. The big one and that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did check my.
Everything's gonna be okay, Kelly. I'm sorry that you cut yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Hard.
Well, I could use it for painting.
Like,
No, I'm just kidding.
Like this. Tires.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.
I love the ducks.
I'll watch the auction later.
Maybe this one's small fish bag. That's okay.
Are you trying to roll it?
Yeah.
See you later, Rich and Jess.
Take care, Kelly. Take care.
Unfortunate accident when you have art. That's what happens.
We just hope you're okay. Just go take care of yourself.
Take it like that. Hope for the best.
Take a look at this.
Literally. Want David to sign your ducks?
Yeah. And I like that you appreciate the fact that those ducks are doing art.
And then they
What time is it?
It's gonna be at least one Steve.
80.
Yeah, dude. I'm looking at this one
Quack,
here.
quack,
His
quack,
name is
Steve.
Jeffrey. I feel like he's a Jeffrey.
Okay, so we've got quack, 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 Steve and Jeffrey.
There's one Clark, you scare clap.
Quack, quack, quack.
Oh,
Steve and Jeffrey.
Clark would be a good name for
Clark would be a good name for a duck.
you. Or chicken. Clark. Yeah.
It is
feel
only
like this is
8
fun.
p.m.
I
8:19.
just gonna be.
Just gonna throw that out there. It's already been a long night. Goodness gracious me.
That's really nice and bright, Mela.
You like this?
Something.
I was gonna try and sneak out.
The drowning
I think
oil.
when Thalia sees this, she's going to be like, "What is this?"
You're gonna be like the best camp ever.
It's beautiful.
I'll sign it up for you. If you want some. Sure. That'd be a good idea. Poor guy, he was falling behind. He's done. He's done for, I tell you. Okay? Done.
That's Jeffrey.
I'm trying really hard.
He's the
Wait,
youngest.
like GEOFF or like JEFF?
Oh, like
Oh.
go off.
The GFF. My uncle's name. It's Jeffrey, but it's
Geofeffery.
It's the GEO, so we call him Geofeffery.
Right. Because when you know a Jeff and it's a GEOFF, it's a totally different situation than a JEFF.
It is.
The GEOFFs are completely.
It's like Scene and Sean.
Yeah, what is SEAN?
Scene.
It's Irish.
There's no H. Where's the H?
Back in Ireland.
Oh my goodness. Don't even start it on Irish names.
I know.
It is interesting and
I've
wonderful.
not seen it for the longest time.
And then Scene Bean.
Like Sean Kingston, I used to pronounce it as and then it drove my parents insane.
Figure something.
You know what I had a hard time with? Kanye. Kanye.
Mostly.
I had the hardest time with Kanye, and every time I tried to I knew who Kanye West was, but I could not read the name Kanye. Elijah.
Elijah Escalante.
Elijah's masturbating cow. It's had a few homes. No one's been able to live with it.
Like you were talking about your roommate, it's like it's a good litmus
Yes,
test.
for her.
Masturbating
She
cow.
I thought Rich did it for sex as well.
It's no,
Those
the
are my.
style
You
is
can see my
so-
colors,
yeah.
and
Maybe people do. Do you find that people adapt your style from becoming?
Elijah was my art student at one point, so there's going to be a familial. Don't tell him that. He stabbed me for that, but
No, I think he knows that there's
nope.
Really?
Sometimes you teach people stuff and they just copy it.
No, but I actually taught him. He was in my class my first year teaching, and then we became friends.
I'm never gonna sing.
So, but those were my.
Teach your young art students to find their style, or do you encourage them to explore?
Oh my
every
God!
style?
I'm going to say this online. I don't teach. I farm.
I've done lots of teaching.
I create a room where kids can come in and find their voice. I'll give them I'll show them a thing they can do, and then I leave them alone. So
But you encourage them to experiment and play, do you not?
Play.
I come into class for the most part. If they're doing something, I counsel while they're working. You know, I'll give them tips, but I don't give them assignments for the most part. I will show them lessons, but they're not obliged to follow those lessons.
Yeah, they're.
Challenges. Like
Yeah,
things
no,
to
not even
try.
challenges. It's
Like
I'll walk in. I'm
play.
like, if you want to do this, come see. And they come over and I show them how to
Yeah.
do a thing. Some of them try it, some of them don't. The amazing thing to me though is a lot of the times the kids are learning even if they don't try it.
Yeah.
So I might have you might have a kid in your class, you show them how to do 3-point perspectives and they quit drawing forever. That same kid could be in your class and you do 3-point perspectives next to them for 3 years, and when they're ready, they try it and
Yeah.
they can do 3-point perspectives.
Just because they're exposed to it.
Yeah, it's seeing, right? So you can learn the entire curriculum sitting next to somebody that's doing the work, and yeah, that's how it works. They see stuff. I think my kids are super advanced though, so I have like really low concerns because my kids are so far advanced.
But they're far advanced because you leave them alone to play
yeah.
and to listen.
I get them to love making
It's
art,
like you
and then
said,
they
it's a
stay up all
farm.
night making art, right?
Yeah.
And I hand out these sketchbooks, and at first when I changed schools,
Rich as an art teacher.
I wish I had Rich too. The first time I move into a school, there'll be a period of time where people like come and they'll drop sketchbooks in my mailbox. I'm like, your kids are drawing in my class. I'm like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But after a while, I'll end up with like they'll start seeing a pattern that like in my school, 100% of the kids draw really well. It's not like that one magic kid. It's like everybody draws really, really well. And people, they recognize it. They might not know how to talk about it, but they appreciate it. And then they kind of just leave me alone. And I leave the kids alone. And during COVID, all my kids got better because they stayed home for COVID and drew. Right? Like I wasn't sitting there and I can't make the kids work if I can't see them. They were drawing and they were checking in with me to show me their drawings. And so the first thing you do is you foster a love for art making. And then you try not to damage them.
Yeah.
And then you take comfort that practically nobody in the school system even knows what the kids are supposed to be doing. So they have a hard time calling you out on it because there isn't somebody to say, that's not the way it should be done. And like I said, my kids just do amazing work and people mostly leave us alone.
Why did I not have a Rich as my high school art teacher?
Because you would have to be insane to want to be a teacher if your brain was wired like mine.
My
Right?
high
Schools-
school art teacher made me never want to touch art ever again.
Mine kicked me out.
Yeah.
He was like,
Well, in
I
fairness,
don't like how you hold like.
in fairness, I
pencils."
wasn't allowed to take art in junior high either because I caused some problems. So I ended up taking band, but that worked out for me because now I can play the trumpet, sort of. But it's weird to think that here's me and I wasn't in junior high art because I somehow didn't qualify. You know, like that's a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
Just failed art.
I failed art in high school.
I was stubborn and I took the advanced courses in
This is the
art,
thing,
like just to make my teacher.
It
angry.
made me want to be an art teacher because I knew it was wrong. so
I
that's
think
good.
that's my struggle is that when you maybe know a little bit about art and then your kids are taught by somebody who won't let them play because it's like you have to find your voice. And like, but
Not
that's how you
at that
find your
age.
voice is by playing and experimenting and trying everything out.
That's in fairness, teaching is really hard.
I agree.
And if they're an art teacher and they know how to do 12 things, they're going to spread those 12 things out over the span of time that they have with the kids.
Yeah.
I have 500 things in my toolbox, so basically I let the kids tinker, and wherever they're going, I'm like, hey, let me show you how to do that. And then my friend Margot came in to show them how to use the pottering wheel because Margot was really eager to try out working with kids because Margot was thinking of getting her
She's teaching now,
degree.
Yeah.
And so Margot came in as kind of practice to try out teaching pottery. I hadn't done any pottery. And so she showed the kids and she said, well, let's see how Mr. Taylor does. And I got on the wheel my first try. I made this amazing bowl. And she's like,
Oh.
like, good job, I guess. But there was it wasn't Margot. I think it was Margot's mom. I can't remember whose mom it was, but they were shocked that I could. And I didn't know that I could throw on the wheel. It was just that made sense to me, right? So I think my lack of fear with the different opportunities of things you can do frees me up to let the kids grow, and I'm not trying to stunt them in any way.
Yeah.
Because there's that fear if I teach them everything the first year, what are we going to do the second year? And that's an authentic fear for a teacher. So you got to be gentle with your teachers.
Well, and I think too, in all fairness,
I signed with a rectangle.
in a small community like ours,
Oh,
our
I see.
teachers
I
isn't
agree.
an
Where
art
am I
teacher.
looking?
They're a
I love
science teacher who teaches drama and art,
Right.
right? Like their specialty is not art, so
Right.
there is probably a lot of fear around that.
Anybody that's teaching could be doing a lot more with their lives, getting a lot more money, and not stunted. Like you become a teacher, and all of a sudden in your third year of teaching, like I know what kind of car I'm going to have in 13 years.
Yeah.
Right. There's no opportunity there's no surprises. Right. So it is a career of sacrifice, and I do think we need to be gentle with the teachers, even.
There's a
Yeah.
barb now.
Nobody would ever do that out of spite. You know, like what if they became teachers because they hate kids? Like you hate mustard, you're not going to get a job at the mustard factory.
No, I agree.
Nobody
I
is
think
that
it's-
self.
yeah.
Deprecating.
Yeah.
Maybe. Somehow she lost her arms.
I think sometimes though that really nice people become kind of mean people through teaching because
Well, and I don't
Did she
think
really
it's mean.
know?
I just think they're.
She what? Eat them?
Did she really need them?
I don't think she did. She has pretty.
sorry, I shook the table.
No, that's okay.
It wasn't
I had it
carelessness.
coming.
I got my foot caught on the table and I almost fell down. These things happen.
We would have been more worried.
Once
There
or
was
twice.
there was no judgment.
I really like the black in my fingers.
It looks like forbidden frostbite.
Oh, I like that black. It looks like forbidden frostbite.
It does.
Are you okay?
Okay.
I need to find the Tylenol.
Yeah. The coffee's not working.
Nothing's working.
Nothing's working. She lost her arms.
She lost her arms. Tylenol. Oh look,
What time is it?
it's only 8 o'clock. It's like-
Actually, kind of lucky because right now my painting kind of sucks. Could this be one of those nights where I think my painting sucks and then
and it
half an hour
dries.
later I look at it and go, oh, that doesn't suck like I thought it did.
I'm thinking of giving her T-Rex arms.
Please do.
Because look at this, it would be perfect.
Mhm.
Compositionally,
Wow, there's
it would
not
work.
9 people
You
with
could
us.
just be really into CrossFit and then stay tuned. It happens. Happens.
The energy when there's no one here is my favorite.
There's tons of people here.
We're just in one room.
What she means is that
So many
the
people
people
here.
who are here are nobodies.
No, I love you all dearly, but it's not crowded. So the energy is different.
It might,
People
it
who
might,
aren't up here are being very
it might
quiet.
get crowded.
Can I
during the
tell you
auction.
something really funny? We
Maybe.
haven't had sugar in like 9 weeks,
Mhm.
months. And I just had that Tylenol and it's coated in sugar. And I'm like, whoa.
Do
Did
have
you
a
know that
headache?
they're coated in sugar?
No, but like the trace amounts of sugar on that Tylenol.
Like the easy tabs or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the little red ones that taste like cherry.
Felix. Yeah, I might actually need that prescription.
I spit out the Tylenol tab yesterday. My gag reflex said no. Because I thought, I'm going to take Tylenol before they take my braces off. So I'm extra prepared.
That's smart.
It was a smart decision to be a big brace.
Hey, bud. How are you?
He's not moving.
Good.
There you go. There you go.
I'm on the live feed. Nobody can see you, but just letting you know in case you like start swearing or something.
Say something wildly inappropriate.
I love your poison dagger. Is that why it's green? What are you What are you drawing these with?
Mom's iPad.
Oh, but what program?
It's called. It's not the best. There's a better one called Sketches School,
Yeah,
but I'm using something called Notability.
right. What Sketches School?
It's like the best online. Like if you're gonna draw on an iPad, it's the best.
What do you guys use for iPads?
Procreate.
Have you tried Procreate? Do you know about that one?
No.
Hmm.
Or sketchbook.
So, is it what's holding you back? Do you need some money to put an app on? If I give your mom some money, will she buy that
No,
app?
you don't need to. I just don't have it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to get an app and it's not on your phone, tell your mom I'd be happy to pay for it. I love your drawings, though.
Yeah.
Do you want to print one off like a poster?
Okay.
That'd be fun, hey?
I'll be back eventually.
Yeah.
Catch me when you get home.
No.
Did you have a good day? Yeah.
I'll never know.
Yeah.
Go say hi to Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi, how are you? I love your drawing.
Yeah, there's a poison dagger, shurikens.
I like those.
The stabby knives.
The cat.
What's your cat's name?
Chili.
And that's Felix in his armor.
I can see he has a cowl neck. And, oh my god.
Why do you have only one eye?
Because his hair's over
Under
here.
my hair.
Oh. Gotcha. Do you use your pen for that?
That's a lot of.
No, I just did one eye and then I covered it in hair. The other eye was
Are you using your finger for that or the stylus?
Apple
It's a good
pen.
float.
Apple pen?
Apple pencil.
Mm.
We don't have
Very
any
nice.
extracurriculars to that flow.
Just because without it, it's hard.
No, I get it. I get it. That's super cool.
But also the one good thing about this
Yeah?
is you can add as many photos as you need.
Right. I like
In
that.
Sketch of School, you can only add one photo.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it pretty hard.
What do I use? I bought the iPad. So what's the animation program I use?
Flip a clip.
Yeah, I like Flip a Clip.
Yeah,
I bought a whole iPad just so I could use Flip a Clip.
yeah. And then my daggers have amethyst in
Yeah,
them
yeah.
and quartz in them.
Nice.
Like the handles have quartz and the bottom is amethyst.
We should make a dagger this summer out of rocks. There's a boy in my class that has a forge, and he does. What does that say?
It's a private message, but
2.
Rumble House figure drawing is the only.
Most poison daggers are kind of curved.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I just think that like whenever I've seen the poison dagger, it's almost always been curved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hate having a poison dagger. My friend Kelly cut her finger tonight. What if she had a poison mat knife?
Why would she have a
Poison mat knife?
yeah?
Why would you have a poison dagger? Just because they're cool, you know?
Yeah.
Just in case Godzilla attacks, I guess.
What?
Just in case Godzilla attacks.
True.
I guess all you really need to kill someone with a poison dagger is like one slash. Like
Right.
even if they had armor, even if they're just like they got like a tiny cut.
Do you know what I need to do, little man?
What?
I need to get back to the Rumble.
Okay.
Miss you.
Love you,
Bye.
Felix.
Bye. Hang up.
Wasn't even that ripped.
Is this public?
No, it's on Rumble House figure drawing.
But he was like the most fittest dude in the world.
Maybe because he was going down the side.
What time was that? 7:33. It's an hour ago. Just keep that handy for me.
Or does she have like a wing for a hand?
You're my bubble. I'm just kidding. I was just kidding.
I am your bubble.
You are my bubble. I was at a 7-Eleven one time. This is like not long ago. And this guy was standing right behind me. This is like Saturday morning at like 11 in the morning. And there's 2 guys. And the one guy was standing right behind me and he's plastered. And
Sorry, you can keep that.
here I was calling.
Sorry.
Well, I only have so much like attention span watching a movie. Like when I'm at the movie theater, I'll go out for a bit and come back and do one of those. So I try to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut him off. Any villages.
If I was on the TV,
That's okay.
I can still go outside, go to the bathroom, and come back and sleep. Or,
Last time on a date to a movie theater, I fell asleep.
yeah.
That's
Like
how I
after
roll.
you eat your popcorn, you pretty much like.
I feel like the energy just shifted.
And that Mickey, yeah.
Mhm. I hope everything's okay.
I don't have any prescription painkillers in my purse, so I'm like, my migraine's getting worse. So I'm sorry, I don't want to be
I was really stoned, so I was like,
negative.
Take care of yourself.
I'm
That's first.
It just sucks because I have some, but they're at the house, and I thought I had some in my purse.
You have 20 minutes. So for the option. Send her to Richmond.
Makes me want to cry.
On my car. Do you want me to drive you there?
I don't know why I can't even wrap my head around that right now. Should I go get the migraine pills from the house? No, I don't think so. Maybe it just won't last very long. Maybe it won't last very long.
Are you being a liar?
No, I mean the thing tonight. I mean,
Yeah. Are you being a liar?
Should you go take care of yourself?
I'm like,
I have. Someone gave me a Apple Watch for my birthday.
yeah,
Pizza, if
maybe.
anybody wants pizza.
Oh, I bought everything except for that one line.
Does that mean Valen's here?
No, I brought pizza.
You brought
Yeah,
pizza?
I was hungry, so I went and got pizza.
Guy, that's so nice.
This guy just left and came back with a pizza.
Yay.
That sounds like a great idea.
But I do think
and my buddy's Jewish, he's Jewish and rock family. I was like, do you believe Jesus? Is like, he's like, what do you mean that hoax that everybody talks about?
Do you ever see boots that are like so ridiculously ugly that they're the best?
How's it so hot? You were gone for like an hour.
They're like embroidered, studded, flowered cowboy boots.
Like it just like had a
Like,
race.
who does not need those in their life? Aren't they pretty? Like, they're so ridiculous, but they're so pretty.
Really?
I studied and embroidered.
Whatever.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, trying to wait?
We missed you.
Oh, that's cool. Look at those feet.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Good stuff.
Look at it.
See?
That's
Randy.
right. So David said more like a decking its own shed.
It kind of is. It's going in strong.
So yes, leave it here. 60. Okay, good. Probably looks okay. I noticed that if I don't make it shiny, it looks better on the screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Because
interesting.
the shine takes the colors out on the screen.
Oh,
Like on
okay.
a computer or a TV screen
Yeah,
while
yeah,
you're
yeah.
watching it.
They're charging for plastic bags. Think about
Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay,
Okay.
lovely. Both of them are opening 60, right?
Yeah, let's see.
I have
That's
a
lovely.
issue.
And if the other one doesn't sell,
Yeah.
then I think it will work more on it, make it more like three-dimensional. It's a little bit flat, but
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting in its own way too.
Yeah.
So like you said, we'll put them both in and then we'll see.
for me, it looks like it would be a fish
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
with those wings.
But like they're
Anyway.
getting junk.
See you guys next week.
See you next
See you
week.
next week. Bye-bye.
I,
David, see you next week.
I 100% agree. You should.
Why did they think that?
Yeah, if I make it.
If I'm still alive, I'll try to.
If I make it.
20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And there's pizza and there's. We're gonna eat the fruit.
Oh, is there fruit?
There's lots of fruit. Do you want some?
Yeah, actually.
Do you have a preference in the variety of fruit that you would like?
Is there berries?
Maybe there's kiwis.
Kiwis. I love kiwis. Yeah.
There's
Thank-
grapes. Grapes are lots of sugar though.
I
You
don't.
don't care?
I don't.
Don't text the Rumble. Don't be writing silly things. Is that clear? Okay, bye.
I love you.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
Because you deal with things rather than not.
You have a migraine?
I think if I just go slow and don't laugh.
We don't have a
Variety,
Chester
and
tonight.
it's
No,
just
I know.
chocolate on the side, but not on the fruit. There's pears and mangoes and kiwis.
That's really
What time is it?
We have
Jess.
like 20 minutes.
Okay, why don't you walk home and get the cool air will clear your mind. Go get a migraine pill. And then come back if you're feeling better. And maybe we put the live feed off for now and invite people back in
No, I
20
was planning on
minutes.
getting fruit until you mom told me.
And
Deal?
what?
Call people can come back in 20 minutes. What are you eating?
Kiwi.
We do this? Kiwi's on the list.
Oranges. Oh, you don't have the skin?
You're judging us? I'm just kidding.
Like Napa. I don't leave the skin. Yeah.
This brush is gonna get wrapped.
Adds a little bit of
All my brushes are dying here.
We've been pairing so long that
Go get your migraine pill.
Okay. Should I turn off the thing or you can?
Just say goodnight to the people.
Good night, people.
We'll see you in
We'll
20
see you
minutes.
and find us at 9 o'clock.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Maybe.
Thanks, Jesse.
Just
Take
like
care.
using a slice of pizzas, the plate was not creative.
Oh, they were
Is that your